Lately, I've been getting a lot of very similar questions from people asking me how they can experience less anxiety in their life, how they can stop experiencing such enormous amounts of anxiety, even how they can experience anxiety like normal people. This question is totally understandable because it's very much at the root of having an anxiety disorder. An anxiety disorder is all about a desire to avoid anxiety and about constantly engaging in compulsive behaviors to try to cope with anxiety and check on anxiety and control anxiety. It's at the root of the anxiety disorder, so it's very makes complete sense that somebody with an anxiety disorder would want to know how to experience less anxiety, but I'd encourage you to learn to recognize that feeling to experience less anxiety and not react to it. Here's a simple analogy that will hopefully explain this a bit more, because getting over an anxiety disorder is exactly like learning how to exercise after spending an entire life of not exercising. And so say you have a personal trainer and somebody comes to them and that person says, I feel I'm really out of shape. I get out of bed in the morning and right away I'm out of breath and my heart's racing, and then I have to walk up some stairs and I'm drenched in sweat and my muscles are sore and I just can't do it. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm so tired at work. Just walking to get groceries, I find I'm sweating and my heart is racing. It feels like it's going to jump out of my chest. How can I stop feeling so bad? I don't want to experience this anymore. And what's that personal trainer going to do? They're going to tell that person that they have to exercise. And they're going to put them on an exercise program where they're on a structured program to actually experience those so-called negative feelings of sweating and your heart racing and your muscles being sore, pretty much every day of the week. That's the same with an anxiety disorder and recovering from an anxiety disorder. Yes, those things, you may not like them right now, but it's trying to avoid them that's actually caused them. And so in your life, if you're always avoiding exercise, eventually everything is exercise. It's difficult to do anything without feeling like you're exercising. The same is true with an anxiety disorder. The more you avoid anxiety and the more you try to avoid anxiety in every area of your life, actually every area of your life starts to cause anxiety and triggers it, and you start to experience it all over the place. Right? You gradually, the more you avoid anxiety, you sort of spiral down into this pit of anxiety. Recovering from an anxiety disorder is going to be about turning around, facing anxiety, and climbing back up out of that pit, and that's going to mean putting yourself on a structured program, working with a great professional who has demonstrated, proven experience helping people recover from anxiety disorders, and they're going to take you through a process of experience anxiety, starting with the things that cause you the least amount of anxiety and building up to experiencing the things that cause you the most anxiety, experiencing those things, not reacting out of fear, and instead acting according to your values. Yes, that's going to be really difficult at first, and yes, that's going to cause an enormous amount of anxiety, but over time, you learn to really embrace that. You can learn to accept the thoughts in your head and just act according to your values. It's just like how somebody who at first may not like exercising, over time they're going to start to learn to like it. They're going to start to learn to like that they're breathing heavy and that their muscles are sore right now, because they start to recognize, that means I'm getting stronger. That means I'm getting better. So it's really important that you learn to embrace anxiety on a structured program, but recognize that getting over anxiety means throwing yourself into anxiety. You can't get over an anxiety disorder by trying to avoid anxiety. That is the anxiety disorder. The beautiful thing of this throwing yourself into anxiety is that eventually, as you work your way out of that pit of anxiety, you will actually experience anxiety less. I made a video about my own experience one day when I recognized that my brain was behaving differently and I was experiencing anxiety less. You can check it out right there. And I should add that video, I made that 2 years after I had completed a course of behavioral therapy. And that's something to keep in mind. Just as if you've spent your entire life being really unhealthy and not exercising, it takes time to start to see change in your body. It takes a lot of changes throughout your life to support that. Your brain is part of your body. It takes a long time to change your brain. It's going to take changes throughout your life to support that. But it works. So next time that idea pops into your head that, I want to experience less anxiety, or I'm experiencing too much anxiety, recognize that thought, recognize it as part of the anxiety disorder, say, screw you brain, you're going to experience more anxiety, and then go out and give anxiety a big hug. Make the changes you need to make in your life so that you can invite anxiety in a healthy way, and just keep hugging it, and keep hugging it, and keep hugging it, and eventually it'll just become a healthy part of your life. And also anxiety will get really bored with all this hugging because it hates getting hugged. And eventually the more you hug anxiety, the less you'll see of it.